two reasons I'm up here. Number one, my mother and Jim's father were brother and sister, and so we sort of grew up together. I dare say, and maybe someone can challenge this, I think I probably have known Jim longer than anyone else in this room, unless his pediatrician. My first memory of Jim, I was 4, and he would have been 9. And we were visiting, as we often did. Our family lived up in western Pennsylvania. We had come down to Southgate to stay for a few days. And somehow we decided that the entertainment of that trip would be, I'm sure only a few of you may remember the Southgate home, but we would get on the lawn, right outside the big screened-in porch, and 2 terraces going down to the backyard. And we would roll down as fast as we could. And we'd run up to the top, and we'd roll down as fast as we could. We did this for hours on end. And that was sort of the first memory I have of Jim. There were a lot in between. We sort of grew up together. He and Lou, his brother, would come up to visit us in Pennsylvania. We'd come down, my sisters and I, to visit. Then in Kentucky during the summers. I remember when Jim was in the minors, once in a great while, I remember very well, Mary, you pulling up a big trailer, huge trailer attached to the car. And Jim had just was going, I think, to Buffalo from Little Rock or someplace, and Mary stopped overnight because we were on the way. And the kids kept getting out of the car, and getting out of the car, and getting out of the car. And we had a great evening, and Mary and I were lovely. I happened to also have been at, and I'm going to jump ahead there a little bit, at Jim's first no-hitter in Boston. And I remember summer of '58, and my sister and I was in New Haven, and she was in New Haven also. We drove up, I called the night before, Jim had tickets waiting for us. Little did we know we would be seeing history made. And I'll never forget, I've told this story many, many times, that by about the 7th inning, all of Boston fans were aware of what was going on, and like any no-hitter, they were rooting for a no-hitter for Boston, because they wanted to witness a no-hitter. Bottom of the ninth, Jim is facing the last batter, had to be Ted Williams. Crowd was going nuts. Jim hit a long fly ball into right field, and the crowd instantly became quiet. They heard a pin drop. And over that silence, we heard Al Kaline yelling, "Don't worry, I got it, Jim, I got it." And he did. It also happened to be New Hampshire Day. And so New Hampshire had all these gifts to give to the first Red Sox that got a single, the first one that got a double, the first one that got a home run. And they ended up deciding to give all of them to Jim. I don't think anyone told them before the governor made that decision that Jim had 9 children, and one of the prizes was a year's supply of milk. He learned he was a very good sport about the whole thing. I could go on like this, all sorts of little stories. We used to go down to spring training in Clearwater when he was with Detroit. A couple stories I won't tell about that. And we also went down to the Phillies training camp, which was fun. It was a lot of fun, and we enjoyed those trips. I'm going to tell a story on my wife. Some of you have heard this story if you've talked to her any length of time. But my first official date with her, we were in Cleveland. I was working there. She lived there and was working. And I called her up and said, "Hey, my cousin's coming in to pitch against the Indians. Would you like to go to the game tomorrow night or the next night?" And she was sort of thinking, "Who is this guy? And who was this cousin?" But she consented to go to the game. And after the game, we waited as we always did. We came out and had a nice visit with him. And they were then traveling back and forth from Detroit in buses. So the Tigers were waiting in the bus, while Jim and I and Sandy are visiting. And as young athletes were prone to do, they sort of lost the decorum and started yelling out of the windows, "Who's that, Jim? Who's that girl?" I said, so Jim just looked rest of the story is, and I guess I'd tell you a little history, but the rest of the story is that Jim, the next time he talked to his mom, Glad, who was my godmother, he said, Norm's going to marry that girl. Now that was an unusual thing to say after a first date, but it was also unusual to say because I had just broken my third engagement, and she was engaged to a high school student. So something in Jim's ability to read people that allowed him to reach that conclusion. I could stand here and go on for hours and hours about stories about growing up, because that's essentially what I did. Long distance here and there. The really, really, really satisfying thing is the last 5 years, we have a place in Naples, and Jim and Mary came down to visit us and decided, smart decision, to begin to rent a place in Naples for 3 months. So the last 5 years, we've spent January, February, and March in Naples, either side-by-side condos or them upstairs and almost next door, very close by. And spent more quality hours with Jim and Mary than we had done our whole married life, and I certainly had done probably since I was rolling downhill. And it was really fabulous opportunity to reconnect, to tell old stories, to listen to his stories. We both have been, I was in the investment business, he's was in it, so a lot of investment stories. But those 5 years are a story. And this would be a much more difficult thing to do if those 5 years hadn't taken place. Because it was fun to reconnect with a cousin,